You worked hard to achieve your goals. You spent a ton of time, money, and energy to get there. And then once you achieved your goals, you were greatly disappointed because it didn't turn out the way that you thought it would. Hi there, I'm Dr. Dimitris, a practicing board certified psychiatrist. Let me give you a secret about success. We idealize it. We focus only on its positive aspects, and then we're greatly disappointed when it fails to meet expectations. So let me give you 3 tips to avoid this trap. Tip number 1 is stay balanced. As achievers, we tend to focus on goals and ignore everything else. Don't make the mistake of sacrificing your health and loved ones at the altar of achievement. Tip number 2, appreciate the journey. Focusing only on outcomes is the equivalent of going on a hike and being so focused on the destination that you fail to appreciate sights and sounds along the way. And then tip number 3 is don't equate success with happiness. Success comes with its own headaches, such as being under greater scrutiny and carrying more responsibilities. So for more tips on this topic, check out my latest post for Psychology Today. Thank you.
And welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. I am Shanrae. We are on week 2, part 2 of our monthly topic, which is if we know better, can we really do better? Last week, we found out initially, no. Just because you know better does not initially mean that we can do better. All right, so before I jump into everything and we move on from Tuesday night, again, welcome my Instagram family, YouTube family, TikTok family, LinkedIn family. There's one other, I miss X family, Twitter family, X family. Welcome tonight. Thank you all for being a part of this. I have been doing this Counsel of the Day for Shanrae for 12 or 14 years. I know it's my longest platform, and I'm so grateful that you all have, a lot of you all have stuck with me with this. So let's move this on. I'm going to move by this quickly. I acquired my degrees from Ashford University. I'm going to open up this website disclaimer for my fellow theorists. Y'all can take a brief look at it, and we're going to move it along. This 30 minutes it'll go by very quickly. Before we know it, that's my bio. Again, I acquired my degrees from Ashford University. I am a Christian counselor, so I stick with this. I've been sticking with this scripture for a while now. Deuteronomy 31:6, the NIV version, says to be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you, nor will he forsake you. All right, let's move on. Tonight, I'm going to blow this up a little bit. All right, and we're going to go on back. We just have 2 simple key points for tonight, but it's going to be expounded just a little bit. All right, so the first one is how to do cognitive reappraisal. How to do cognitive reappraisal. And number 2 is benefits of cognitive reappraisal. Those are the 2. Of course, we do our takeaway and our quote as well. So let's dive on in. I want to recap. Let's recap from Tuesday night. My teachings and my theory came from Dr. Derek Hagan. He is a CFP, a CFA, a FBC, CFT, a CIPM. Either way, he's highly qualified, guys. And what we talked about on Tuesday night was the gap between knowing and doing. It was really awesome. One of the things I want to recap on is he talked about how the sweet spot is finding the overlap. And then we did a lot of overlapping. It's finding the overlap between knowing and doing, learning enough to start, and then gaining experiential enough knowledge by starting to take the action. Progress often comes from doing something good enough rather than waiting to do it perfectly. All right. So then also he left us with one of the 2 questions, and we gave the answer. It's a lot of people that was on. Hey, Peaches, how you doing? A lot of the people that was on Tuesday night, one of the ladies actually said that she started using one of the strategies over the weekend and how it really started helping her. And that's Miss Felicia. Thank you, Miss Felicia. So Dr. Derek said that he asked 2 questions. What's the first small steps that we can take? Well, we all came up on Tuesday night with the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule. Hi, Mama Sarah. And then the other question he left us off with Dr. Derek on Tuesday night was, how can I turn my knowledge into action? We went right back to, once again, that 2-minute rule. And the 2-minute rule is was some of the strategies that we talked about last week. And that 2-minute rule is whatever we're trying to do, whatever goal we're trying to reach, whatever goal we're trying to make. He's last week's findings was just start it out. Put your clock on 2 minutes. Give it 2 minutes out of the day, and that's it. As soon as the clock ends with 2 minutes, stop. Don't touch it. Don't do anything else. That 2-minute rule. And the reason why we say if you give it 2 minutes, when you go back to look at it, you will see that you started something, and it's something that you can build upon. Again, I had someone on that was Miss Felicia was on Tuesday night, and it just really encouraged my heart to hear her say that she started the 2-minute rule. Hey, Navy Brett, how you doing? She started that incorporating that 2-minute rule over the weekend and how she already sees progress. All right, so let's move on tonight. I'm gonna open this up just a little bit, and then we're gonna move this back out. Tonight we're talking about 2 steps: cognitive reappraisal. So, and this is by Dr. Hara Estroff Marano, Dr. Hara. So Dr. Hara talks about cognitive reappraisal, and we're going to break down what that is. And it is a strategy for everyday living in which a person deliberately aims to modify their emotional responses to experiences by changing their thought pattern. When I say reframing your thought pattern, reframing your brain, and that's what we all do. This cognitive reappraisal involves evaluating an emotionally charged situation, okay, from a different perspective than what comes automatically to mind. Cognitive reappraisal is used to counter habitual and often negative interpretations of events that can lead to getting stuck in emotional turmoil or interfere with goal pursuits. Cognitive reappraisal, it reflects a core fact of psychological life. Individuals can play a significant role in shaping their own emotional experiences. So in layman's terms, cognitive reappraisal is looking at something or whatever you're experiencing in a negative frame and start to find something positive. Pull the positive out of it, basically is what Dr. Hara is saying. Number one, the first question, and let me move this along. The first question that and let me open this up so you all can see it. All right. And I'm going to minimize it again. The first question that Dr. Harris says is how to do cognitive reappraisal. This is how you can start it, how you can start implementing this. All right. And let me just, I'm sorry, because I did this on Tuesday night, and I really do love to show you all who all is on. Okay. Who's on tonight. All right. Okay. So number one, cognitive reappraisal is generating a positive, even absurdly and incongruous reinterpretation of a negative event that you're experiencing or you experienced or are experiencing. So it often underlines benign humor. Like it'll help you laugh about whatever's going on. And in fact, researchers find that the use of benign humor, pointing out the bright side of adversities, is good at both down-regulating negative emotion and amplifying positive emotions, bringing that out. People may differ in their fluency in generating different appraisals of a situation, but it is a skill that can deliberately be cultivated. At first, likely requiring considerable cognitive effort. You got to think about what, the good thing in the bad situation. But with practice, becoming more automatic, okay? So with practice, this thing becomes more automatic. For instance, this might be real funny, but I'm just going to say it, guys. So when I was a little girl, a teacher broke my arm. Mama Sarah actually might remember that. I had a cast on when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I don't know if you remember that, Mama Sarah, when I was a little girl. A teacher in my Head Start broke my arm, okay? And so I was in a cast for a while, a few months. And the humor in it is when the cast came off, I had a mole. And I've had a mole ever since. And I always laugh. I was like, people sometimes look and say, oh, and I said, well, I wasn't born with it, but it took me when I wore cast, and when the cast came off, I had a mole. And so to me, that's humorous. That's funny. I'm sorry. Good evening, Rashawn. Hi, Rashawn. Good evening. Good evening. So good to see y'all. So that's something taking like a serious event and then thinking about something positive that come out of it. To me, growing up, I was told that moles were considered beauty marks. So I was like, I got a beauty mark. My great aunt told me when she was younger, and my great aunt was born in the 1930s. So she said when she was younger, any woman that had a mole, that was considered a beauty mark. So I grew up saying, oh, I got a beauty mark, you know. So that's a good thing. And that's just an example. All right. So Dr. Raha says that, am I saying that right? Dr. Dr. Hara. I'm sorry, I had to reverse that. Dr. Hara says that cognitive reappraisal is free. And this is a good thing. You ain't got to spend no money on it. Cognitive reappraisal is free. It's available at any time, and it's useful in many daily life situations that provoke an intense emotional reaction. However, researchers have found that people use the strategy far less frequently than needed to. So most people, even those that know about cognitive reappraisal, they don't use it in an intense moment. They don't use it. They just overlook it because at the moment they're heated. You know, at the moment they're heated. So let's move this along where we at. Okay, so the first question with this, with how to do cognitive reappraisal. Number one is, how can, and Doctor said, ask yourself these questions. How can I apply cognitive reappraisal into my own life? How can I do this? And Dr. Hara says that life doesn't always go the way that we want it to. And most of us know that, especially those of us that live long enough. We know most of the time life does not go the way we want it to go. But we do the best that we can with what we got, right? And a lot of times it comes out all right. It really does if you think about it. It teaches us how to be resourceful, how to be flexible and stuff like that when things don't always turn out exactly the way we want it to. All right. So Dr. Hara says that it is free. It's available at any time. Most people don't use it. How can we apply this cognitive appraisal to our lives? All right. Number one, she asked the question, are you engaging in some form of cognitive distortion, such as catastrophizing? Let me give y'all the definition for catastrophe. We know what catastrophe is, but catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is a mental habit where people automatically assume the absolute worst thing is going to happen. We treat small problems as total disasters. I know people like that too. Okay, treat the smallest thing as a total disaster. It means that they expect the worst outcome out of almost every situation. They're constantly feeling helpless, and they believe that they cannot handle whatever result that's going to happen. I know people that's like that. And they really do need to start practicing this cognitive reappraisal or retraining their brain, because that's not a good place to be. Mentally, your heart is always beating fast. You always afraid and in fear. You know, you look at the glass half empty rather than half. That's not a good way to be at all. You know, so that's the first question that Dr. Hara asked. Are you engaging in some form of cognitive distortion, such as catastrophizing? Number two, she said, ask yourself, what is the evidence supporting your automatic appraisal of the situation? What is the evidence that supports the, oh my God, this is never, this is just it? What is the proof of that? That you've come to the conclusion that this is just it? Ask yourself that question. Number three, she said, ask yourself, are any positive outcomes possible from this situation? Right? Number four, she said, ask yourself, are you grateful for any aspect of the situation? And that's something we really should look at. Are we grateful for anything in it? And you know, number five, in what ways are we better off than before the situation actually occurred? Because sometimes when rough things happen, like for instance, let me give you an example. My engine broke down earlier this year in my car. And I drive a Kia. a 2018 Kia. They come with the greatest warranty. That's a whole nother story right there. And so the dealership, they decided not to honor their warranty. I had no other choice but to pay for a engine and get my own car fixed, and everything else will come later on with that situation. But at the time, I knew that wasn't the end of it. I knew the car was still, as long as it got repaired, it would still be a good car. And what the good thing that came out of it is my car got fixed. I got a new engine. I can drive it anywhere I want to again now. And I'll be able to settle with the actual dealership later on. That it's not all, I'm not all out of money or anything like that. That's the good thing with it. Okay. So, and number 6, what did you learn from the experience? Well, I learned that the dealership is not honorable at all. That's what I learned. But I also learned that it's going to be all right real soon, though. Hey, official Sharad, how are you? But it's going to be all right real soon. I tell you that much. So the next question that Dr. Hara asked is, what is an example of cognitive reappraisal? And let me move this along. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I wasn't ready for that. I'm moving too quick. It's me. What is an example of cognitive reappraisal? What is an example of cognitive reappraisal? So, hey, Helen, how you doing? Oh, my goodness. So, Dr. Hara says that say you learned that a neighbor that you loved, and this is an example that Dr. Hara gives. Say that you learned that a neighbor that you loved while growing up has suddenly died, and that there are many possible responses that you can give. So one of the responses is, she said that you could fully unleash grief. Number 2, or you could distract yourself with work. Number 3, you could choose to suppress your grief. Number 4, you could acknowledge the loss, but not get stuck in rumination or sadness about it by reframing the situation. And this is what she says. This is how you can reframe it. Focus on the wonderful life that person lived. Okay, the good they did in the world and the many ways that they benefited from knowing that you benefited from knowing the person. So that's a good way to start. That's an example of reframing your thought pattern. This is what I do. When I get a phone call from one of my sister friends, and we're all indie artists, and they'll say, or text and say, sis, oh gosh, this celebrity just passed. This celebrity, and I always restate back to her, isn't it a blessing that the world got a chance to know who this person was through their gifts and their talents? We know we're gonna miss them, we're gonna miss their talent and stuff like that. But I always say, isn't it a blessing that the world knew who this person was through their gift, because of their gifts and their talents? Oh, Peaches, she said she needed to hear that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She needed to hear that. Yes, ma'am. And this is my sister, my big sister Peaches, and we've had a rough year this year, Peaches and I, and my cousin Alicia. I know Peaches. She said, "Mommy, that's my mama too. Her mama, my mama too. That's right." And we've had a rough year this year, but we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. We're going to be all right. Yes, we are. I tell you, Cousin Alicia was on Tuesday night, and we've all had similar experiences this year, right back to back, right with each other. But we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. I tell you. And so I love this. With me being a therapist, we need therapy as well. And so there are several things that I'm incorporating into my life daily to help me with different things. Is we, like I said, and Peaches, my sister, knows a lot that's going on. I mean, we've been hit hard this year, but we're gonna be all right, right, Peaches? We're gonna be all right. Yes, we are. So, I love again what Dr. Hara said. Dr. Hara said, let's focus on wonderful things, like the wonderful life a person has lived, the good things that they did in this world, and the many ways that we benefited or you've benefited from the person. Okay. Peaches said amen. And she and I know what I'm talking about. That's my sister. And she know what we talking about. But we gonna be all right. We're going to be all right. Yes. So, number 2, benefits of cognitive reappraisal. I think now I can move forward. I was moving too fast before. There we go. Let me open this up a little bit. All right, we're going to go back. So let's talk about the benefits of cognitive reappraisal, how we can reframe our thought pattern or retrain our brain. Okay. Number 2. Well, first, Dr. Hara says, first and foremost, cognitive reappraisal actively modifies emotional responses to upsetting experiences, which provides relief. As a strategy useful for emotional regulation, cognitive reappraisal has a double-barreled effect. Okay, it both lowers negative emotions such as sadness and anxiety, but it increases positive emotions associated with our well-being. And I really do love that. I really do. Who said over there? Oh, hey, of the official. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I saw someone new over there. And I love how it's a double-barreled effect. It lowers the negativity, but it increases the positivity within us. And because it alters activity patterns in emotion processing circuits in our brain, over time, it dampens excessive activation of brain centers such as the amygdala, which sends out emotional alarm signals in response to incoming information. So a lot of times when we get anxious, our hearts start beating fast. So our main thing I would say is to make sure that we can kind of calm down enough and start thinking about good things so we can lower our heart rate. We don't want our pressure to go up. We don't want to be nervous and shaking and jittery. We don't want any of that. Hey, Big Red. We don't want any of that. So we know how to counteract this cognitive reappraisal. This is a good way to counteract even negative physical effects of what's going on with us. Okay, so how does cognitive reappraisal improve problem solving? That's a good one. Strong emotions limit thinking. Thinking processes essential for analyzing problems and generating possible solutions. We know when you're upset, you can't think straight. That's just the layman's terms. All right. Cognitive reappraisal restores access to our normal rational thinking. For example, in a set of studies, and she's given studies now with intense math anxiety. And listen, I'm one that actually experiences math anxiety. Okay. She said that those who were exposed to a reappraisal strategy during a math test, they performed more accurately and had less anxiety than their fellow worriers who used their natural strategies to get through the same math problems. So they took brain studies of it while this was going on. And it showed that amongst the students who was exposed to the cognitive reappraisal strategy, there was increased activity within their brain regions. And it linked to better arithmetic performance. So again, if we can some kind of a way incorporate cognitive reappraisal, it actually helps you think better, even in a shocking experience. All right. B, the question that Dr. Hara asked is, how does cognitive reappraisal reduce negative emotions? So the first one was, how does cognitive reappraisal improve problem solving? Number 2, how does cognitive reappraisal reduce negative emotions? Where are we? Oh, we doing good. And the answer is cognitive reappraisal reduces negative emotions not by avoiding them or suppressing them, but by deliberately bringing to mind and refocusing attention on aspects of a situation that stimulates positive emotions. In addition, by lowering emotional arousal, cognitive reappraisal, it restores access to your rational part of your brain, the rational thinking, which opens the door to problem solving difficulties and forward movement toward one's goals, both sources of satisfaction. So again, how does it work? it helps you to think straight. It produces more electrical nodes in the areas that where it helps you, where your logic and your reasoning is in your brain, and you have a better outcome, better performance, and better outcome. C, how does cognitive reappraisal reduce negative emotions? Well, negative emotions not by avoiding them or suppressing them once again, but by deliberately bringing to mind and refocusing the attention on the aspects of a situation that stimulate positive emotion. In addition, by lowering your emotional arousal, cognitive reappraisal, it restores access to the rational part of your brain where thinking is, which opens the door once again to problem solving, difficulties, and forward moving towards one's goals. So it's the same thing as the last one. D. So now, how does cognitive reappraisal improve your well-being? Dr. Hara says that it involves shifting your attention to interpretations of experiences that generate positive emotions, and then opens a path to problem solving. You start feeling better, you start doing better, which are pillars of well-being. Cognitive reappraisal is a process that can be applied across many types of situations, guys. Becoming adept at cognitive reappraisal, it equips people to handle stress better, to see difficulties more as challenges rather than stumbling blocks, and maintain a balanced outlook. Okay, then she says that study shows that people who engage in cognitive reappraisal, they experience greater satisfaction and higher levels of psychological well-being. All right, let me look and see if anyone is. Hey, Mahogany, how you doing? All right, it's good to see you guys, Mahogany. Let me come over here. It looks like I did something. Okay. All right. So, E, how does cognitive reappraisal enhance resilience? Cognitive reappraisal, the resilience is, let me tell what a resilience is. It's the ability to withstand and even thrive in the face of life's difficulties. That's what resilience is, okay? But cognitive reappraisal gives people a skill for shaping responses to the experiences. It's a mental resource available to draw on to release the stronghold or the stranglehold or the stronghold of intense negative emotions generated by unpleasant situations. All right. It adds a perspective that not only relieves emotional negativity, but enables people to think in ways that lead to adaptive solutions to life's challenges. So I'm going to pause because we got new people jumping on. Hey, Pressed Oil. Cognitive reappraisal is when you're in a bad situation, you finding a way to think about what any good thing that's happening during this bad situation and focusing on the good thing that's coming out of that bad situation. That's what cognitive reappraisal is, guys, for those that are just coming on. All right. So this is we're finishing up. F, how does cognitive reappraisal help me regulate a bad mood or a bad experience? The strategy involves reinterpreting, also called reframing or restructuring, an emotionally unpleasant situation in a way that shifts its meanings and reduces its emotional impact. So cognitive reappraisal is one of the core strategies of psychological resilience taught in cognitive behavioral therapy. And that is my specialty. I'm a CBT specialist. All right. And it is proven benefits for individuals, including enhanced problem solving, reduced emotional volatility, and better interpersonal functioning. Once again, all right, cognitive reappraisal is when you're in a bad situation, try to find the good within the situation and focus on that, even if it's something funny. So it can regulate your heart rate, your pressure. It help you think better. It'll calm your nerves. This is what cognitive reappraisal does and what it is, okay? So last thing, G, does cognitive reappraisal change the brain? Well, Dr. Hara and different theorists have found out that thinking differently about situations not only leads to feeling differently about them, but the act of doing so changes your neural processes, some of which can be detected on brain scans. Exerting cognitive control of emotional responses shows up in brain imaging studies as lowered arousal in your brain centers, such as the amygdala. Once again, it sparks emotional reactivity in responses to incoming information, which means that whatever new information is coming in, you can actually understand what's going on rather than being so mind scrambled. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Pravka, how you doing? Rather than being, because when you're upset, you cannot think straight, guys. We all know that. Most of us have experienced it, if not all of us. When you're upset, it is hard to think straight. And you can't make a proper decision when you're upset. So this is what this is. I'm so glad that this is one of the research and the theories that I came across, and I wanted to share with you all, because we all go through this: stressful situations, shocking situations, hurtful situations, but we don't have to stay there. We can, these are strategies to show us how we can reframe our brain, our thinking in the midst of an emotional situation, calm down, be able to understand what's going on around us, and then make better choices for us within that situation at the time. Dr. Harris says at the same time, there's an increased activation of areas of the prefrontal, the prefrontal cortex, linked to executive control and rational thinking. This is where our rational thinking is, guys. In short, imaging studies showed that cognitive reappraisal restores more functional emotional processing in our brain circuits and it modulates our emotions. So, and guys, I'm talking to me first. I am practicing cognitive reappraisal, and I'm a therapist. I'm a counselor, and it works and it helps. A lot of times, I like to put on my phone or on if I'm at home, my TV screen. I like water, so I put on meditative water sounds and beaches and things like that if I'm a little stressed. And I try, and that there alone helps me. It helps calm me. But then when I can think outside of the box and try to think about, okay, what good thing here can I pull from this situation, and then build from there. Guys, when I'm telling you what I know, it works. It works. I understand everybody has experienced shutdowns at times, but we should never live there. We should never stay in that form. Life is full of changes. Life is full of shots. And life will teach us who we are in these situations. And again, I know I'm going to keep saying it. We are overcomers. We are overcomers. We can get over the humps. Sometimes it takes a little longer than the normal, but if we can continue to incorporate these wonderful strategies and keep going, you'll start noticing that things will start getting better and better and better, a little bit at a time, guys. So tonight, the teaching was from Dr. Hara, okay? And it was on cognitive reappraisal and how we can incorporate it into our lives, aka how can we be in a negative or a shocking situation, and when we're in that situation, find something good within that situation. Focus on that rather than on the negative. And when you focus on that, your brain will start shifting back to its normalcy, and you'll be able to think more clearly and think your way and move your way out and up out of these situations. All right, so let's move on to our takeaway for tonight. It's the same one I'm going to keep using. I love it. It says that knowing what you want to do does not always translate into action. If you're perpetually postponing your change, or if your attempts are repeatedly unsuccessful, pause long enough to identify and understand the cause of the unsuccess, or the causes, and then before taking steps to remediate it. Sometimes, again, we have to take deep breaths. We can use this again, cognitive reappraisal, and try to help understand, what am I doing that's hindering this from my success. Think about it, redo it, and reshape it. Okay, so that's our takeaway. Our quote for the month is, it's our duty as men and women to proceed as though the limits of our abilities do not exist. And that is from Pierre de Chardin. Hi, is that Gaga? Good evening, Gaga. Gaga said, brain shift. I'm going to show y'all. Brain shift. That's right. Amen. She said brain shift. It's so good to see Gaga on tonight. Yes. So we're going to move on to, this is for my fellow theorists. Let me open this up a little bit. This is where I've gotten my findings from. You can double check it if you need to. I am always grateful when other counselors and theorists are on, so you all can see where I've gotten my findings from and my research from. All right. So here we go with our service announcement. All right. If you, I did it again. Create a personal and professional transformation through expert coaching. If you're looking for a life coach, www.betterup.com. They have wonderful life coaches on there, and they will match you to the one that suits you and that will help you reach your life's goals and your life's dreams. Aide Plus Community, empowering adults with ADD, ADHD, and OCD to live their best lives. A different brain requires a different approach. www.aidepluscommunity.com. Next one is BetterHelp. So if you want a safe space to speak with a licensed professional online, BetterHelp offers affordable counseling sessions for individuals, for couples, and for the whole entire family. www.betterhelp.com. Next one is, here we go. The next one is 988 Crisis Helpline, where help is available. So the 988 Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people who may be in distress. Prevention and crisis resources for you or your loved ones. They have best practices with professionals all throughout the United States. And that is the 988 Crisis Helpline. All right. Our next one is, Learning RX. Guys, I stand on Learning RX. Stands there on this organization has been around for well over 30 years, and they have helped people for well over 30 years. Peter said, we get comfortable and afraid of change. Yes, ma'am. All of us do. We all do. All of us get mahogany. We all do. We all get it. But you know what? We can make a change with that as well. We can make a change with that. Yes. Learning RX. Okay. So if you want to become a better learner and a better thinker, you might want to consider adult tutoring. And Learning RX is for everybody, for children, for everyone. A lot of professionals go to Learning RX just to sharpen their brains. A lot of judges and doctors and lawyers and corporate people, they go just for sharpening their brains. Learning RX has helped well over thousands of people down through the years. And these people on average have increased their IQs at least by 13 points. To me, that is phenomenal. By 13 points. And it says during their period of training, these people have made significant gains in their skills, like their working memory, their long-term memory, and their attention. www.learningrx.com. The next one is, here we go. If there's a past Counsel of the Day with Shanrae that you missed or you just want to rewatch, go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, and then select any past series that you would like to watch. Shanrae Price, YouTube me. My final announcement is I'm a professional one-on-one counselor. If you're interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, I have done private counseling for the last 14 years. Feel free to contact me via my Facebook Messenger, or you can email me at shanrae.price@gmail.com. I am a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. Listen, guys, thank you all for your participation on tonight. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will see you all next Tuesday night for week 3, part 1 of my next build topic of what we've been talking about all month long. If you know better, can you really do better? And we found out the first week, not initially. This week, if we incorporate the right strategies, of course we can do better if we know better. Helen says we have to move forward. We can't stay. That's right. We sure can't stay stagnated. She's absolutely right. So I will see y'all next week. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. I'm telling you, this year is moving quick, y'all. It's moving real fast. So y'all enjoy your weekend. I'll see y'all next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, week 3, part 1. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night, everybody.